All right, last week we told you about the history of television technology here at KTVB, part of our 70th anniversary celebration coming up. Piece of that was that Idaho was the birthplace of television. We included that in the story, that in 1927, Philo T. Farnsworth invented the idea of television in the small town of Rigby, Idaho. Now, after we aired that story, a few of you shared some interesting tidbits about, well, your connection to KTVB in Idaho and stuff. But one comment caught our eye when Jacqueline said, loving to hear that TV was invented in Idaho, but what else has roots in Idaho? Well, there's a lot. But we looked into it, came up with a few that you may not have heard of. Maybe you did. Idaho is home to a lot of unique inventions. How about the French fry? Not the straight French fry, but the frozen one. J.R. Simplot, you probably heard his name a few times. He's the man we can thank for the first commercial frozen French fry. 1945, Simplot created a canning and dehydrating quick freeze plant where the perfect frozen French fry was, well, it was perfected. Simplot patented the product in 1953. How about other food items? You ever been to the West Side Drive-In in Boise? Famously featured on the Food Network's Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, right? They're the creators of the ice cream potato, an ice cream sundae that, yes, looks like a baked potato. Doesn't taste like one, though. It's really good. Some will say it even pairs well with French fries. Of course you can. Staying in Boise, Boise State put their famous blue turf in place in 1986, the first non-green football field at a university, at any school. They had that title for 20 years until another university chose the color other than green. How about over in Blaine County, 1936, Sun Valley opened with the very first chairlift. It completely revolutionized skiing. They had the rope tow to begin with, but then put in this chairlift, changed everything. Ed Pulaski invented the Pulaski tool, which firefighters still use today. They use it to chop, grub, dig fire lines, brush-filled, rocky terrain across the state of Idaho. That original prototype is in the Wallace District Mining Museum. That's in Wallace, center of the universe, by the way. That museum, though, is temporarily closed. All right, Boise, back to Boise. Capital of Boise, or capital of Idaho, that is Boise. The first city to use geothermal heat for district heating starting in 1892. That's where the water that comes from deep underneath the surface is used to, heat things. That's what we've been doing since then. Geothermal heat. Boise runs under the foothills and, of course, under Warm Springs, which is why that has the name of the Warm Springs neighborhood. Now you know. The Furby, by the way, also invented by a guy from Boise. Fry sauce, though, that was not. It was created in Utah. Gem State just kind of glommed onto it, take it as our own. If you know something we didn't mention, you can text us, 208-321-5614. Let us know. We'll look into it.